As nature declines, so does the human quality of life. This is according to a May 2019 Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services by the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services and the 2018 World Wildlife Fund WWF's Living Planet Report, which noted an alarming decline of global ecosystem services and natural environments over the last 50 years.
Of course, Tropical is starting to do some work with them, but we are not yet there. So the community is asking for...
Informed by these findings, among others, African Biodiversity Network, ABN, a growing continental network of individuals and civil society organizations across Africa, embarked on a mission to conserve biocultural diversity and restore vulnerable terrestrial and marine ecosystems on the continent for over 2 decades.
Our partners who are located in different parts of the region are working into different thematic areas. Like, for example, some work on governance, some work on issues of use, especially filling the gap between the young and elder generation.
In one of its 3-year projects aimed at conserving biocultural diversity and restoring ecosystems in Africa, ABN engaged our diverse network of 21 partners, community-based organizations, civil society organizations, and government agencies across 14 African countries in implementation of a project to regenerate various degraded ecosystems and people's culture in Africa.
The reason why we are working with African Biodiversity Network is that it is one of the strategic area for SIDA to work on the conservation of biodiversity and culture. So this is the intersection point for us to come together and implement this project in about 14 countries with around 21 implementing partners.
Rolled out through 21 partners and focusing on various identified biodiversity hotspots and threatened ecosystems including forests, agricultural landscapes, wetlands, and marine ecosystems, the project's intervention sought to improve not only community livelihoods but also reassure sustainability of natural environments.
What we do as Africa Biodiversity Network is to work with various partners in 15 countries that we have presence in Africa, who are now strategic and implementation partners, to support the communities through biocultural diversity to conserve their environment, their biocultural systems and ecosystem services protection. So now we can have an environment whereby humans, farming activities and other microorganisms living on land to live in harmony because they are interconnected, and each one of them has a role that they play to have a healthy ecosystem.
In the Gulf of Guinea, along the coast of the South Atlantic Sea in Benin, a clutch of hatchlings, or better still, baby sea turtles, dash towards the sea after some terrestrial coastal habitat orientation.
It's happy to have the Kenyan people that are here to come and visit them, that they helped them a lot, that with the NGO Tropical, they gave them some phones so that they will be able to video how the eggs, the turtle, they come out of the sea, they lay their eggs, and they told them that the eggs, they don't have to be eating them, they have to be protecting them, they have to keep them so that when they grow, when they leash, they can send them back into the water.
In partnership with Nature Tropical organization, ABN is supporting Semipoji community by strengthening their activities in management and protection of endangered marine species such as whales and sea turtles of Jeffa Plage area.
Je suis dans le groupement EPC de Toklébi. Je rends grâce It's very grateful for the NGO Nature Tropical for what they did, that the training that they gave them, it not only gave an impact and ways of seeing the environmental conservation, but it also helped her as a person. It helped, it gave her some ways to understand more how she has to relate with her people that are around her. So she said that the training that they gave them helped her to understand that the turtle, they're supposed to be preserved and they have to be protected.
Welcome to Zobeji People's Territory of Grand Popo in Benin. For the Zobeji Women's Champions, they have learned organic methods of growing their onions and seni, a local medicinal herb.
All of them.
To the eco-guardians of Lebozon Forest, the forest is not only a home to them, but it is also a means from which they derive livelihoods.
Nous sommes ici dans le cadre des interviews au niveau du projet SIDA.
This forest, the communities that were living in it, they are having a Discord. Like there were 3 different communities in this forest, they are having a Discord. So we really need financial support so as to help the community and the local people, the local communities around, so that they can work in common accord to help grow this forest, because if they don't do that, the forest might be taken away from them. So this community has this forest has great resources, many more resources.
La Tunisia, c'est des plantes médicinales que nous utilisons ici, nous avons planté ici.
Here, we call it Artemisia. It's a medicinal plant. You use it to heal malaria. When you're having worms in your stomach.
Ce n'est pas des enfants qui sont malades avant, et ceux qui ne sont pas malades.
Femme leader! Femme d'action!
Green Development Advocates GDA, a partner of ABN in Cameroon in Central African region, engages communities and indigenous people living around Campo Forest in Cameroon in training initiatives on agroecological farming methods, especially in composting for soil fertility and improvement. Following the gradual application of these agroecological practices, these communities continue to record increased yielding of their indigenous cassava, arrowroots, and groundnuts. In these little-known villages in Africa, community ecological governance systems are gradually springing back to full existence, thanks to the now revived, time-tested and proven indigenous community knowledge system and practices. Emerging in the seemingly rugged landscape of Tharaka Nithi in eastern Kenya is a proactive youth and women movement that understands, celebrates, and actively engages in biocultural diversity restoration actions.
We are in the YCB hub, that is the Youth Cultural Biodiversity Hub, that was constructed via REDEP, which is the implementing organization funded by ABN. And this hub is to help in the conservation of the culture of our communities in school.
Kupitia huo mradi tulipelekwa huko msituni, pia tukajifunza hali ya kuishi na wanyama, kwa sababu kwa msitu kulikuwa na wanyama wengi, kulikuwa na tumbiri, kulikuwa na monkeys, pia nyoka wengi sana hata pia walikuwa huko. Lakini wakati tulienda pale tuliweza kufunzwa jinsi ya kuishi na wao.
To bridge intergenerational knowledge gap between the young and elders, the project engaged both the young generation and elders in dialogues, biocultural diversity conservation activities, and nature experiential learning exchange endeavors. Through a sustained SIDA biodiversity conservation campaign, comes a growing shift of community perceptions on seed management from conventional to suitable traditional seed management system.
Mutharaka ndawita magana tathikerie wewe buranda yana gwimbi irio bietu bya gintweri ibyo byari nenya muno bira byari yaibanta kathenya bakinyire mankega na ria mirongo muthurwa kathongo makiena matunda meto na mitu na ma monta ontwere bwake inkombo.
This program that is being supported by ABN, by SIDA through ABN, and which is also being rolled out to the partners, is actually improving the resilience of the farmers as they build their resilience against the negative impact of climate change. So I would say the farmers are more prepared to face the future.
This system aligns harmoniously with natural environments such as soils, water, and gender-related social cultural practices around indigenous seeds, food systems, and spirituality. Through seed community training by Global Initiatives for Environment and Reconciliation, GER Rwanda, one of the ABN's implementing partner organizations, these passionate smallholder farming communities, who include the youth, continue to develop a strong connection not only with their indigenous seeds, but also the associated organic farming methods.
Jerry taught us how we can conserve the biodiversity. We used to take all these grasses and then burn them, but now we are making the compost. So after being trained by Jerry, that's when we started then putting in place what we learned from them.
You can call them ivikoro, or better still, yams from hell.
You say that it comes from hell because they just grow deep.
This is a description of an indigenous yam variety highly treasured by these inhabitants of Musamo village in Ruhango district, southern Rwanda. In the community seed bank is a colorful display, a collection of varieties of indigenous seeds, including the almost extinct local finger millet.
What he's holding is the finger millet. It used to disappear in Rwanda. There are not many places where they grow the finger millet, but from our town here, we grow them.
yanasenye community buriya buryo bw'ubufatanye community the sense of community kubana kubaho.
These activities that you're doing, it's not only to reconcile the community because it was destroyed because of the genocide against the Tutsi, but it's also helping us to keep conserving the biodiversity.
In the foot of Barberton Mountains in South Africa lives a quiet rural settlement, the Mountain View village in Jamestown Valley. Here, young people progressively are taught life skills through the experiential learning program under the mentorship of elders.
My name is Fradine and I'm in grade 5, and the garden is very lovely and I love getting our hands dirty, and we planted cabbages and carrots and...
This is Usiko Organization, another ABN partner who has transformed many local young and adult population towards self-realization through various nature-based learning experiences.
We saw each other as someone else, but when we went to the camp, we saw masks falling off, and we didn't know who that person was because the person usually put a different front at school. So I think that was a very interesting thing that we learned from each other.
Usiko's connection with ABN, I think it's an important connection. Usiko is about connecting with nature. It's about connecting with wilderness, and we've probably one of the premier organizations in the country that is able to develop programs that combine youth development with being out in nature. And also, similar with the Power Moms, we also connect them to nature.
With African Biodiversity Network. And if I look back at the 3 years, I think one of the biggest achievements was the revival of seeds that's been lost to the community. We have ignited and excited young people, young kids from our program around agriculture, and so they get a love, or they started a love for it.
I make one day soup, one day food. So maybe it's cold, then I prepare soup. Then it's vegetable soup with split beans, mixed soup, all that stuff.
Miss Wilma Adams of the village's popular soup kitchen has devoted to nourishing the needy neighborhood with a healthy mixed ingredient soup thanks to the steady ingredient supply from Usiko Community Garden. Today, their companion and guardian come visiting with a bag full of goodies.
I get sponsors from the people in Jamestown. They give sponsors, and then Usiko give veg and dry food for the soup kitchen.
Oh, that's lekker. And we started to develop a food garden. Well, firstly a soup kitchen, and we were doing that on a regular basis. But then we realized that we needed to do more than give handouts. And we came up with the idea, what about also developing a vegetable garden so that we can grow our own vegetables for the soup kitchen.
The determination of the ABN to conserve and restore the continental biocultural diversity of the native peoples of Africa provides real-life illustration as well as of the assertion it has never been more important for humanity to grasp the consequences of the loss of biocultural diversity. Only then will they be able to hope to prevent catastrophe. Sir David Attenborough, 2020.
Nous faisons le coffin de pose tomber, c'est du tout puissant qui le fait.